guests. My name is Ina Steinboka. I'm head of European Commission representation in Latvia. Welcome to the House of Europe. We have in our audiences, also in this room, various debates on the numerous topics. And always, I think our main focus and main priority is what serves to the benefits of Europe. House of Europe is a neutral place when you can make your debates, when you can challenge each other, but at the same time, what is important indeed to agree on something which is of benefit of Europe, but of course on benefit of every Baltic states. The key words of today's debates is innovations, development of technologies, research, and it seems to me that in the current economic development and in current situation in Europe and in the word innovation is indeed a key. Maybe on the surface you observe the discussion on Europe on fiscal discipline, on fiscal stability and these sort of things. But in fact, European Commission and European Union is trying to develop a twin strategy. On one hand, fiscal stability as a precondition for sustainable development, but on the other hand, growth and jobs. But of course, it's easy to say about growth and jobs, but it is difficult to achieve. And to my mind, indeed, innovation, development of innovations, even in the small and medium enterprises like innovative entrepreneurship, innovation in research, and so on. This is perhaps a sustainable solution on how to achieve real and sustainable growth in the future in Europe, but first of all in the Baltic states. I must say that Latvia is, according to the new innovation scoreboard, the last in the group of European states by innovation indicators. Somehow this trend should be reversed in the future. Estonians, on the contrary, is showing quite impressive results as far as the innovation scoreboard is concerned. But what is important, it seems to me, that you are here representatives of research and innovations of 3 small Baltic states. And it is quite difficult to find the right place in a competitive environment in Europe, being by your own. It seems to me that it's good to try to find a synergy of working together, sharing ideas, achieving the results in the benefit of your countries and in the benefit of the Europe as a whole. I very much hope that today's discussion will help finding right solutions and options on how to go further, how to develop innovation in the Baltics. What is also very important to try to put your discussion in the framework of the new MFF, in the new financial perspectives. Right now, in all member states, there is an intensive work to draft national reform programs and to formulate, identify national objectives for the next financial perspective. It's utmost important to find the place in each country's development program with the objective to develop innovation. So I hope that this joint project which you are going to discuss will be solid and will provide a good base for identifying it as a priority by all Baltic states. Well, I wish you a very productive and very constructive discussion, and I very much hope that your outcome indeed will serve to the benefits of all of us. Thank you very much for your attention and good luck.
Dear colleagues, dear friends, my name is Mārcis Alziņš. I am rector of the University of Latvia. Please allow me, on the behalf of the University of Latvia, welcome all of you to this meeting as well, because partially at the University of Latvia we feel responsible for this initiative. It started a couple of months ago when, I would say, on some lower level, I mean on the level of the universities, rectors of three Baltic universities, Tartu University, Vilnius University and University of Latvia came together, and we decided that we must do something. That 2014, when the structural fund period will be coming to the end, is very close, and to be sure that universities and research institutes will not suffer some very sharp drop in funding at that time, we must come up with some initiative. And this Baltic Technology Initiative, in some sense, started at that moment. But it was only the beginning. Then I know that there was meeting of rectors of technical universities of three Baltic states. Then it was discussed, this problem was discussed during the meeting of prime ministers in Estonia and ministers of science and education. Then there was meeting at the University of Latvia. Again, there was discussion between already at that time representatives of three ministers. And at that moment we got a feeling that this can be working initiative. That we are very close to at some point to have very precisely defined and clear idea how we should move forward. This is why I feel that today it's opportunity, and hopefully we will not be losing it, to come to some very particular and very concrete agreement how we should move forward. Because we know that probably it's rather easy to have a common idea, and it's rather easy to have a joint vision between universities, research institutes, when we are coming to the state level, to the level of ministers. Sometimes it's not so easy because there's some national priorities and different other reasons why the solutions are not coming as easy as we would wish. I hope that today, as I said, we will be moving forward, and maybe we will be coming close to agreement, because it's crucial to have this agreement. Otherwise, 2014 can bring real problem for research infrastructure, for universities and for research institutes. So I wish all the luck to this meeting, and as I said, I hope that we will be very constructive today. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Ministry of Education and Science, I welcome you here in this, I would say, working meeting. And Mr. Alziņš already briefly told the history of our idea. And now I will take an opportunity to remind what we have agreed and what we have achieved already during the first meeting, which was in the first question, whether it was the end of the last year or beginning of new year. I guess it was 16th of January in year 2012. And I will try to put forward some ideas we really have to keep in mind. And as already colleagues said, it's not like that we are in a hurry, but we have to move quite straightforward. And for this purpose, probably I will use some kind of PowerPoints to describe it more precisely. Alright, so this is already second trilateral Latvian-Estonian-Lithuanian meeting. Just for exercise, would you raise hands so I can identify the people from Latvia, please? Oh, good. So you are quite well represented. Estonians, please. Also a good corner here. And Lithuanians. Excellent. So we have also a Lithuanian delegation. Very good. So on 16th of January of this year, we met in the University of Latvia. The first thing we discussed very briefly is really need to sign memorandum of understanding. Quite obvious is that no, we have even more reasons to sign this memorandum we have proposed. We discussed some kind of analysis we could use to identify smart specialization. I'm quite sure that we already have moved forward also on this issue. And we described briefly Latvian priorities for research infrastructure development, which was presented by Ministry of Education and Science of Latvia. So what happened during the months? On 18th of January, we had an opportunity to discuss the project proposal with the JASPERS officials who came here from Warsaw office. This meeting was organized by Ministry of Finance, which is the managing authority of structural funds in Latvia. This meeting was particularly good on one hand, but not so successful on the other hand. During the meeting, Ministry of Education and Science presented the idea of Baltic Innovative Research and Technology Infrastructure Project, which we know we just use the abbreviation, BIRTI, for this to make things much easier, and invited Ministry of Finance and JASPERS to consider providing further assistance to the BIRTI project development. Experts expressed their wholehearted interest to be involved and verbally accepted invitation to come to Riga and to learn more about the situation of research and development in Baltic region. That was I recall that was a second aim what we put forward, that we really have to learn and to know much better each other's situation in order to make more, how to say, qualified and policy analysis based choice of our priorities. However, I must say that during the formal communication process, agreement was not achieved, and managing authority didn't include at this time BIRTI project in bilateral action plan, which is usually used by, signed by managing authority and JASPERS office. However, I guess this mustn't keep us away from doing our things we have to decide and to move forward. So I guess that this is not the final decision, at least. Still, the project idea is included in the government action plan. So the new government of Latvia has approved its action plan, and the idea of this project is included in action plan under the title that Ministry of Education and Science, in cooperation with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, has to provide a support to the creation on the EU level platform of excellence in technologies in Baltic region. Project idea is also accepted as a part of the negotiation strategy for a multi-annual EU budget. And like in other countries, I guess, Latvia has started development of national development plan. Priorities have to be accepted at the Cabinet of Ministers early in March, and National Development Plan, the first draft version must be early in June, and the final version has to be accepted in early September. Still, there is even more need to reach common understanding and common priorities. And this is already set by proposals of the new regulations on EU structural funds and EU cohesion policy, for the specific focus on research and innovation, which is called conditionality. The conditionality which must be fulfilled in ex ante before we really can start to use these investments. So this means that deliver Europe 2020 strategy objectives of smart, sustainable and inclusive growth, focus on results, maximize the impact of EU funding, and the introduction of ex-ante conditionality to ensure the necessary conditions for effective support that they are in place for research and innovation. I guess if at least some of you have heard that already from European Commission, that still it's something what will not be moved away. So this is something what have to be fulfilled in the early 2014. Ensuring conditions for effective investment are in place, the existence of a national or regional research and innovation strategy for smart specialization in line with the national reform program. So we know all that we have national reform program. That's a document we agree with European Commission. And we have prepared already the next steps. These are allocations of priorities and funds for period 14 to 20. And this national reform program creates a basis for negotiation with European Commission. So these three documents must be in line with the same focus: national development plan, national reform program, and national or regional research and innovation strategy. To leverage private research and innovation expenditure, which is also a challenge for Latvia, and that this complies with the features of well-performing national or regional research and innovation systems. But just not the national proposal, but this national proposal must be in line with well-performing national or regional research and innovation systems. What Commission proposes is that we perform a serious analysis of national, regional and local characteristics. That we position our member state in the region in its particular international context and see what this implies for its future priorities. So, and if necessary, consider repositioning. Lay out a strategy for smart specialization, and here we are, in a bottom-up process involving all relevant stakeholders. It's good to see that relevant stakeholders are already here, that we have established already culture that we involve the stakeholders from the early beginning. Prioritize, evaluate and choose. Consider possible governance adjustment if needed. That's what we also discussed also with our colleagues in ministries. But at the same time, our national strategies also have to consider the necessary governance issues where it's appropriate. Formulate a clear plan with limited and specific, again, limited and specific priorities where an evaluation process has to be built in with relevant indicators. So now we see that our proposed memorandum of understanding, where we draft already have in our hands, must be targeted, must be more targeted and more focused. So that areas of cooperation must cover exchange of information on external evaluation of research and development systems. Here I can tell you that Latvia is known in the process of starting external evaluation. So we have elaborated already the criteria, set of criteria and methodology for external evaluation. So the first outcomes of this will be available in the end of this year. So I guess that we have to discuss in detail our S3 national roadmaps and to discuss them in the regional context. We have to ensure regular exchange of information on development of our national development plans, setting priorities. We have to coordinate our efforts to meet conditionalities according recommendations of EC. So, what we have prepared for you, this is a draft of Memorandum of Understanding, which is now available in your action documents. So what we invite you is that you bring back this to your ministries and relevant stakeholders. So we use emails and electronic communication, but it's quite obvious that we have to establish particular working groups which move forward in a coordinated way, setting the timetable, setting the schedules and intermediate targets and goals that we have to achieve. And it's an interest of all of us that we really can start negotiation process with European Commission to be prepared much better than we are now. So from my point of view as well, I wish you good luck and good success moving forward the idea of BERT project. But as we already decided in the previous meeting, the memorandum and close cooperation, which covers all policy issues, are also our big priority. Thank you very much. And the next I will give the floor is our Estonian colleague. Right? Are you ready? Thank you.
Sorry, I understood that we are just not having this presentation.
No, sorry.
Academic presentation.
No, we move straight to the academic presentation.
Thank you very much. And the academic presentation from the Estonian side will be given by Tartu University Institute of Physics director.
So, dear colleagues, my name is Marko Kirm, and I'm coming from Estonia, and I'm director of Institute of Physics, University of Tartu. I'll just say a few words about our institute. This is the biggest research and development institution in Estonia in the field of physics, material science, and nanotechnology. As I wasn't completely sure what I had to present in this meeting, so I tried to make some kind of overview of research infrastructures and programs which are running presently in Estonia, because if we want to design something to be implemented in future, I think we should also consider seriously what we have already achieved and what is running well. And this is basically the content of my talk. I'm trying to show that all different aspects has to be followed. So in order to be competitive in research and development in the field, so you need very many components, and to be competitive in the world, you really need excellent researchers and world-level top science. And this, let's say, direction is supported by the program of Center of Excellence, which are 11 in Estonia running presently and successfully running. The other component, what you need, is really the research infrastructures. And I'm coming to that also later in more detail, but this is basically, we have created our roadmap of research infrastructures in 2010, and now the funding is made available, and really the infrastructures are growing up. And of course, this consists of 20 different objects. It is also important to mention that our, let's say, the buildings, really what comes from the past for the research and development works, they are also very important, and Estonia is targeting these things as well. And finally, I mean, the science is not itself for research and development, but you have to collaborate with the industry. There are different schemes, but one of the successful is really realized through Enterprise Estonia. This is a state agency running all innovation and development programs with industry. And there is a program called Technology Competence Centers with 8 centers, which has been funded by 62.9 million euros over this period. And finally, what we should have it from that, of course, we should have publications, patents, new products, and increased innovation capacity. And to have it, we have to also educate our young people. And here are some examples of our recent development work. This is the corrosion protection layer from top of material. And if you make a cross-section of image, you will see that here underneath is an aluminum alloy, and this is covered by 58 nanometers thick protective layer, which is a nanolaminate consisting of aluminum oxide and titanium oxide. Or, of course, innovative products can be also in other forms, like these fibers here, or classical materials, light-emitting materials, scintillators. Center of Excellence, I apologize, I'm not going to really describe all of them, but this, you see, this is really the selection. Basically, the process is following, the applications have been made, they have been evaluated by international panel, and finally the national panel makes decision. And you see, we have 11 of them covering more soft field, like cultural theory, to electronics and biomedical engineering, to medicine, chemical biology, environmental areas, biodiversity research, and excellence in research and testing environmental changes. And also going to in the first instances of universe, particle physics and cosmology, in genomics, in computer science, which is very important. And these three I have pointed out because these are the centers where our institute is involved. This is theory and applications of measure systems, high technology materials for sustainable development, and Center for Nonlinear Studies. This is very interesting collaboration because this includes the people who are studying how the human heart is working, how the waves are proceeding in the Baltic Sea, how the waves are proceeding in optics, in physics. So it's really multidisciplinary. High technology materials for sustainable development. This is very wide area covering such research in energy materials, fuel cells, supercapacitors, and materials needed to be developed. And there is, this is our main partner is Institute of Chemistry from Tartu University and Institute of Material Science from Tallinn University of Technology. So this you can see that this is in a way our specialization where the best funding is given to the best people in Estonia. Coming to Estonian roadmap of research infrastructures, you see this consists of 20 objects. The blue ones are related to the material science, which is, let's say, my field. And the thick black ones means that in one or other way already funding is given to these projects. As you see, there are different kinds of projects. There are international ones like Estonian beamline and Max4 synchronization source, magnet laboratory, Estonian participation at nuclear research, in European Social Survey, ESA, European Southern Observatory, but there are also the national things like Estonian Environmental Observatory, which consists of many institutions working in different aspects of our monitoring the environment and studying the processes. And this roadmap is really giving the new equipment needed to do it in a high level. Then I would like to point out also the nanomaterials, which has been, as I understood from the materials of a previous meeting, it has been also identified and one of the possible cooperation fields between Latvia, Lithuania and Estonia. I will bring also some example and a little bit more on this Estonian beamline and spallation source. As you see, we have objects which are, let's say, developed and built in Estonia, but our intention is also to contribute to the largest research infrastructures in Europe, and one of these places will be soon near Lund. This is southern Sweden, half of hour from Copenhagen airport, so it's very handy, easy to reach. And there will be two big things built. One is the Max4 synchrotron radiation source. There is our intention to build Estonian beamline. So that means the beamline is really the, let's say, it's instrument. I mean, this machine, there are particles are circulating, they are emitting radiation, and this radiation is used to study various phenomena. And the beamline is really to bring these photons from the source to the experiment. And as we have a competence in the field of soft X-ray range, so this will be soft X-ray range with two branch lines, one for the gas phase studies and the other for solid materials. This will be realized together with Finnish colleagues who have also got some funding, but not enough funding to build a whole beamline, so it will be joint Estonian and Finnish project. And the question is always what we are getting from that. I mean, first of all, it's important to mention that just contributing to such a research infrastructure as an Max4 is, you will get access not only to your own instrument but you will also have access to other beamlines without any extra efforts, and this is very important. So far, our user community has been mostly the material scientists, physicists, but we are really looking forward to extend it in Estonia to bring in more chemistry people, more biology people, because they are not really looking to a soft X-ray, but I think everyone knows how important is X-ray crystallography to determine the structure of proteins in order to design a better medicine or to understand processes taking place in human body and fight with diseases. About the time scale, I mean, I was describing so far the Max laboratory, which is to be ready by 2015, so it will operation in soon. The other object where we are contributing is ESS, European Spallation Source. This is basically the neutron source, and here are also very different sciences in the Max lab to be studied, but with the ESS, with the neutrons, it's really good to learn about more on soft matter, especially about the hydrogen bonds. So it's really much towards biology, but also in other micro and mesoporous systems. So with Max4 we are very well defined what we would like to do, and the project is going well. So hopefully we will sign until autumn the contract with the Max Lab, and then the funding in an amount of 4 million euros will be made available to really to buy the equipment. With the ESS, we are more in the discussion phase what to do, because I believe that even in Latvia there is more people have been involved into the neutron science. But now at the moment we are mostly educating our young people and trying to build up the community who are really experts in the field, and this will be done through the collaborations with already existing centers in various places like ILL in Grenoble or in Switzerland. The other project, this is research infrastructure called nanomaterials research and applications. This is, it will be developed in Estonia, and this has got funding in amount of practically 5 million euro. And as you see, this is, I mean, in a way, good example also for a Baltic contribution. We have two major universities in Estonia, the Tallinn University of Technology and Tartu University through Institute of Physics and Institute of Chemistry involved. So that means that this research infrastructure is already distributed, so it's not located in Tartu or only in Tallinn, but it's in both places. The other important thing is what we are keeping in mind is so-called NAMUR, as we say it shortly, nanomaterials, is that our intention is open to any users from any country. So basically, we design the international access system like the other big laboratories discussed before. So you have to send in application. Application will be evaluated, and on the basis of evaluation, the experimental possibilities will be given. Not to be just only telling about the principles. Already the first equipment, what we are going to buy, is basically decided, and the procurement processes are to be started in next month. One of the systems, what especially the chemistry people are dreaming about, is a time-of-flight secondary ion mass spectrometry system. So basically, it will be equipped with so-called focused ion beam, so you can perform the chemical analysis of materials with a very high spatial resolution, and also you can down to resolve to the isotopes of how our materials are built up, and there is a sketch of it, so I'm not going to describe, but basically you will get the chemical maps, you can have a total ion image, you can take different spectra, and in this way really learn how your material that you have synthesized or used in some devices built up. Another thing what is missing in Estonia, I mean not missing, but we are making the next step is a high resolution scanning electron microscope, which is very important if you do material science, if you want to visualize the nanostructures. So this will be located in the facilities of the Institute of Chemistry, and this one will be at, in Tallinn at the Technical University. There is a group working on photovoltaic materials led by Professor Melikov, and this is their primary intention, but it will be also available to industrial users. And Institute of Physics is developing the microscopy center. We have already one of the SEMs. Now the next instrument will be analytical transmission electron microscope. And I'm sure that it will be also interest of other researchers and also industry, because this equipment is expensive. Practically each piece is nearly 2 million euro. So in order to use them efficiently, you need really large community. There is always question how to involve the industry, and for that we have been thinking about introducing so-called fast track for industry. Because industrial research cannot wait for, let's say, for 3 months, for 6 months, what is typical for academic researchers. So that means there will be special approach to let the industrial people to do research, and I think we aiming about 1 month, let's say, access from turning in the application, which is very rather quick. And of course, I'm sure that here we can cooperate in the field of in the field of material science with Latvian researchers and also Lithuanian ones. So this is one of the pieces what is already invested, and I think we should really, designing the new programs, we should keep in mind that already such as, let's say, infrastructures are developed, and we should put also them into a plan and develop further, because this is not the ready infrastructure. There are much more plans complementing it with other techniques like surface science techniques, etc. Then the competence center program is really to build up the relationship between academia and industry and the public sector. And here are all the 8 technology competence centers listed here. As you see, we are involved into this research through the Estonian Nanotechnology Competence Center, and there are also the main issues, the new nanostructured materials. People are working on growing nanotubes and involving them into the structured materials, also developing this corrosion research or anti-corrosion coatings, sensors. The most successful project so far is really the electro-optically active glass, which has been, I mean, it's known of course for many years, but our people have used the sol-gel technology to make this glass, which is changing its transparency in a different way, and this is already gone to let's say the production line is being set up in the enterprise called Andrese Glass, and there are the following research projects going on. But as you can see, these competence centers cover very different areas like food and fermentation technologies. We call it in Estonia, this is so-called milk nanotechnology competence center. So that is basically the the next one is the healthy dairy products. But this is also related to the food. Then ELICO is electronics and the test systems of electronics, which I would like to tell it's really good to see that there is companies brought together the academical research, and they have been also very active towards accessing the large-scale infrastructure. So recently the research project started with the CERN to make a certain test systems to evaluate complicated electronics and its behavior. Then it's of course the cancer research is very important. Software, like you know, I think it's in every country, a different amount of software people are working in software and computing applications and medicine and innovative manufacturing in engineering systems and competence center. And metal industries is also very important in Estonia, so this is working towards that. It was about the research infrastructures, but there are many other programs according to our research development innovation strategy, which are contributing in different fields. So we are not only putting the money into the equipment or research, there are also special programs to attract people. For example, TORA. This is internationalization of higher education, and that means that we can have PhD students coming to Estonia from other countries. Very important project in my point of view is really mobilitas. This is mobility of scientists. So far we have got, I don't know the total numbers, but for example in our institute there are 3 top scientists working who came with this program, and 6 postdocs, so that's quite a number of people. And then of course it's important to support the educational sciences, teacher education, popularization. This is the Teame. This is very important thing. And finally, I'm coming to again to the equipment. You see, we have 3 different scales of the project. Small scale equipment, this is up to 60 kilo. So that's not much, but for a single research group, it's quite a considerable contribution. Then there is a medium-scale projects at the university level. We are going up to nearly 1.3 billion euros, and this is the university's applicant. Here is the research group, and the large scale is really the state level, and this was the roadmap project basically what I was discussing, and there is basically no higher limit. So they can be as expensive, however, as the financing is not endless. So these projects, what have been funded, have got something 5-6 million euros. And the important thing is, of course, the new buildings. I mean, in Tartu, who have visited Tartu University recently, they have seen the new chemicum building, the state procurement of a new physicum building, where the physics and material science will be located, is just passed. So we hope to have a contract in the next days, and then 2014 to operate already a new building like translation and medicine. And this is not only about the University of Tartu, it's also in Tallinn University of Technologies, where at the moment the material science block is being reconstructed and the new additions added. So it's a lot of going on with that. And what I would like to point out as a summary, that we have to make a complex approach. So if you want to develop something very good, so you have to develop research infrastructures, but you have to think of also how to get people, because not the equipment is making it work, it's the people and the ideas and the knowledge transfer to the industry. I believe that this distributed research infrastructures, this is possible to develop, but there is a node in every country in certain areas, and they can act together, being a part of European network. I can bring you a nice example. If a Max Lab and then DSS will be, let's say, the single site infrastructure, then the Laser Lab Europe, I mean, the Vilnius University Laser Center is part of it, is really consisting of different labs in over Europe, and they operating together, the applications are given. So this is something that we can think about doing it also in Baltic countries. And of course, it all needs joint efforts, not only from the scientists, as it was already pointed out, but also in political and governmental level. And that's not always easy to achieve, because priorities can be different from country to country. Sometimes it's much easier to work with some research group than to achieve some kind of a formal agreement. And I hope this is a bright light from the Max Lab, so I hope that our joint initiative will have also bright future. And tänan tähelepanu eest. Thank you for attention.
Firstly, I would like to thank you, Mr. Kirm, for a very comprehensive presentation. And I must say it perfectly fits within our discussion framework. I think that is what we are looking for, in-depth understanding what's going on in our neighboring countries. I recall that in our previous meeting on 16th of January, Ministry of Education and Science of Latvia also presented our overview on our 9 national research centers. However, still, I guess that there would be a lot of information what our colleagues would like to explain to our neighbors, and as well to take an opportunity and to ask more technical, scientific and precise questions to Mr. Kirm once he is here. So I invite you that you really take an opportunity and ask questions.
Yes. Yes, please.
My name is Ivan Kalvic. I'm representative of the Latvian Institute of Organic Chemistry, the director of this institute. But my question is, you talked about the activities of today and existing infrastructure, what we would like also to know more or to learn more, this is about are the plans for future in compliance with the actions in the past and of today?
Yes, this is a very good question. I think I'm not really the proper person to tell about the state policies, but I mean, you see the activities, this roadmap activity, this is not for a 1 year, this is for a future, and that means that this roadmap will be relooked with a 3-year cycle. As far as I know, we are still in a planning phase for the next funding period, but maybe I can give a word here. Our Toivo Rain, who is a representative from ministry, he can comment on what's going on in let's say, in ministries and so on. So, Toivo, please. And I'm not here alone, so there is a whole delegation. So I'm able to answer material science, but there is also Professor Metspalu who could tell about the biobanks and stuff like that more.
So, thank you. I have to say that all you said was very, very correct. I think this research infrastructure and the main person who organized this Pritam is also here. So there is next year there will be a revision of this roadmap, and of course it is already now looking to future. And I would be very surprised if our smart specialization will be different from this listed in our programs that have been already selected. So this was the idea, to put this together, as you showed in one of the first slides, centers of competence, centers of excellence, and research infrastructure. We can see there are certain areas where there is competence, and then have such kind of working together, all these programs. But I can't say too much about, let's say, the programming for next financial perspective. This is quite in the beginning phase, and we seems to be not so far as Latvians who have already in governmental level approved certain things. But in principle, I saw that you have very good plans to establish such kind of institute of innovation and technology. I think if we take it from European level, the European Institute of Innovation and Technology, I think from these 12 member states that joined later, only Poland is included in this project. So certainly we should have also some kind of activities in this area to prepare ourselves to be involved in next phases. I think it's quite important. And if we see the budget that is now planned from Europe to this Institute of Innovation and Technology and the framework program, this Horizon 2020, it's a rather big amount, and even we are a little bit, if talking about our Estonian position, we are a little bit worried about this, because we think that Marie Curie should be, that is quite important for us to support it more. I think these are the questions that we have to discuss in a council research working group level, and I think to have coordinated approach in this area. I was not quite directly answering to your question, but as I said, it is not so easy to tell me, as it is in quite a beginning phase.
I would add more, because you see this Center of Excellence program, the first call, Centers of Excellence were evaluated last year, and they got all very positive evaluation results. So I believe that this is also one of the continuing programs. So it could be that, you know, some things are closing down, there's some new things are coming, but but the direction will stay mainly the same. And so, let's say our short-term planning is really based on these programs which are running, and hopefully they will continue, because our institute has really made a considerable upgrade during the last years. I mean, we have got more than 2.5 million euros during the last 3 years, so that's quite a lot of equipment, and as you see, the bigger pieces are coming.
More questions? More. People will
Yes.
move up in after
Thank you for the nice presentation. What we saw here, there's a number of very interesting things which are going in parallel also with interests of researchers in Latvia, for example, in the solid-state physics or in the organic synthesis institutes. They are also thinking about the high-resolution vision electron microscopes or NMR machines, and I suppose it's understandable that every country and every research community has something in common, and if analyzing our research results, we see that there are a number of fields where we are really all of those fields are among the priorities for all of us. But among those you have identified and developed by now, can you also identify such fields which are very specific just for Estonia and not probably that well represented in Latvia or in Lithuania?
This is a very good question, and I'm not sure whether I can really answer that. Maybe my colleagues can also help on this respect. I mean, I believe that we have very much common. I mean, for example, with the Institute of Solid-State Physics of Latvian University, we have very close cooperation, and our profiles are not exactly matching, but they are complementary. So this is natural. If we are thinking about nuclear magnetic resonance techniques, there is our flagship is the National Institute of Chemical and Biological Physics. They have put effort to develop. Maybe they have their own niche of doing, let's say, a special kind of NMR techniques. But I think it would be very difficult to be very specific in a small country, to be completely different. What I say about our material science and this microscopy field, I mean, what is our idea? It's not just to have only this high resolution TEM or whatever. It's just to have, let's say, the whole row. We have also people who can do the materials, make, let's say, film drawings. There is a strong surface science group, XPS, UPS. There will be also the vacuum tunneling microscopes and stuff like that. So, I mean, in a way, I think a small country cannot be very specific. If you think about our economy, it needs economy doesn't need maybe so specific things. It needs rather general things, and this is what we have to provide. But the further specialization in a certain area, I mean, I think I can bring the example from Lithuania. I mean, this laser lab is a very good example that this is in very good international level, the laser lab, and then we are going to do experiments there. We have no intention to develop such a laser lab in Estonia, because it is already in Vilnius. I mean, it's just, you know, half of day of driving, or flying, it's even shorter. Yeah. Yes, please.
Thank you very much. Just I mentioned that you have one topic which would, I think is not in other Baltic countries. That is investigation on dark matter. What kind of work you are planning to do in this?
This comes from, let's say, the Estonian traditions in astronomy. So this dark matter and astroparticle excellence center is actually operating on two places. One is the particle physics group in Tallinn and National Institute of Chemical and Biological Physics, where the work is in much cooperation with CERN. It also includes the cloud computing, the great thing, so we are developing this as well. And the other part, the dark matter part, comes from the Tartu Observatory, which is located in Tõravere. So this is, where the cosmology and the elementary particle physics gets together. So it's not only the, let's say, the terrestrial observations, but also it includes the all data available from the satellites and other sources. So this is where people are working.
Thank you.
So I see no questions more. So thank you for listening me, and then I'm available if anyone wants to have some more specific question. As I told that we have a whole delegation here, so you can ask also other people who are specialists in other fields. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kirm. And just a very technical question, whether we have the participants list, so we could have also email lists and could send the presentations we have seen here today. I think that this would be of much of value because, as I said, the next further steps are already in-depth analysis, going straight to the research groups and institutions, comparing institutional strategies, comparing what was already said by Mr. Muzhnieks, also to see the overlapping. It's much better to understand the situation rather to try to omit it. So if there is really overlapping, this could be also tackled in a way what was said like a complementarity, because I also take a note of what was said that probably we're too small for smart specialization, that there must be particular level of investment and effort really to create specialization on regional level. So it could be, I guess it's not working, even can speak in this way, but in fact our smart specialization must be cooperation in particular regionally specific thematics. Know if I can invite representatives from Lithuania to also present briefly what you have prepared for us. There are no initiatives, no volunteers. There are volunteers. They are coming. Good. So, since we are waiting here, what about the lunch break, Mr. Muzhnieks? Have we foreseen any lunch break? No, just a break, not the lunch.
No, we have this press conference at 2 o'clock.
There will be a press conference.
Yeah, too. And then in parallel with the break. For somebody.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking about our colleagues who came a long way. So probably they look for some kind of lunch break. And it's an hour. The break could be an hour.
Yes.
Okay. So at 2 p.m. we make a break, which can be used for press briefing and for lunch. Now the floor is given to Lithuania.
Juras Banys from Vilnius University, Lithuania. I am Vice Rector for Research. And of course, I'm not representative of the ministry or so I will speak more about Vilnius University. And after my good friend Marko gave such a brilliant talk, I'm a bit ashamed because I'm not prepared at all. So, me too, I was not sure what should I speak about, and I decided to talk about valleys. You know, in Lithuania it's a recent fashion to make the valleys like Sunrise Valley, and due to that to achieve development higher than United States, or California at least. So in Lithuania it was decided, then structural funds was coming, to create 5 different valleys. One in Klaipėda, it was called Marine Valley, so related with Baltic Sea, ocean science and so on. 2 valleys in Kaunas. I see Vice Rector of Kaunas University of Technology, and she can talk about Kaunas valleys. So there are 2 of them. It's Santaka Valley and Nemunas Valley. And Santaka is more technologically oriented, and Nemunas Valley is agricultural. And in Vilnius we have 2 valleys. It's Saulėtekio, or in English Sunrise Valley, and Santara Valley, not mixed with Santaka. It's 1 letter is different. And Santara Valley is oriented more to life sciences, biomedicine, biomedical sciences, and the Sunrise Valley is oriented to technological sciences and mathematics, informatics. So as it was mentioned, cloud computing, supercomputers and so on, and programming, of course. So before doing these valleys, it was a big question, which directions, which fields we should support. Because to create in an empty place, it costs a lot of money, and for small countries like our small Baltic countries are, it's a lot of efforts, and result you will get in the very, very long term. So after inspection, and inspection was done very easily. According to the Science Citation Index, the Lithuanian scientists were asked to group. They have been grouped, and the Hirsch Index or H Index, those who are related with citations, you know that it shows how many papers are cited how many times. So the group accumulative H index should be above 60. That's a good value. Of course it differs from mathematics to it's lower, medicine usually it's much higher, but nevertheless the strongest groups have been selected, and we found that in Lithuania we can group these excellence groups into such groups. And in Sunrise Valley we have photonics and laser technologies, material science and nanoengineering, electronics, and from Vilnius Gediminas Technical University it came together civil engineering and geotechnics. So the whole projects have been consisted of 3 main parts. One was to build a science communication center or new library, which is now nearly finished, and probably in April the university library will move there. And 2 parts, it's a laser part, Naglis, and a physical technological center and life sciences center. So 2 huge buildings, and you can see the amount of monies on the board. So first, as Marco already mentioned, laser physics, we feel that we are the strongest in that, and we should develop further. So a few words, it's a Laser Lab Europe. We are participants from 16 labs, and in whole, as you can see, in whole Europe, starting from Crete and finishing with Vilnius University Laser Research Center. Also, we are participants of Extreme Light Infrastructure European project, and you can see the countries. It's a European, also European project. So we have not only scientific part in laser science, but also spin-offs which have been developed, like 20 years ago. It's like Altechna, Expla, Exma, light conversion, which are producing lasers and selling in the whole world, starting from United States and finishing with Japan, so all globe around. And Expla, latest research laser developed for research, was awarded gold medal in California last year as the best research laser in its class. So this is the building sketch, which is already in process. It's the laser structure Naglis. And you can see here the map from Google, and it's rather old. Here is already the built. Here is the Faculty of Physics, Faculty of Economy, Faculty of, oh, thank you, Faculty of Law. This is the laser, oops, sorry. This is the laser center, which you have seen. And here is already built the library, and in this place, it's already the tender announced, and competition, huge competition is going on for technological center and life sciences center. And you can see here, again, the library is already built, or National Center for Scientific Communication. It's nearly finished, and here will be part of life sciences, and here technological sciences part. And laser center is behind this part. So what we have in Lithuania in material sciences and nanotechnologies. So the few stresses which the money will be invested, it's the characterization part. If you produce some new materials, some nanomaterials, first of all you need to know what you have produced. So as Marco also mentioned, of course not so high resolution, not so good. It's very simple equipment, but it's scanning electron microscopy, transmission electron microscopy, and X-ray photo spectroscopy, XPS. And these will be located mainly in Institute of Chemistry, which will join, it's not part of Vilnius University, it's independent legal entity from the former Academy of Sciences, but this institute will go to the Technology Center, will move with all its equipment. Another, it's a Fourier transform infrared spectroscopy, because another strong part from old times in Vilnius University and Lithuania is characterization. So various spectroscopic methods. Laser spectroscopy, Raman spectroscopy, Fourier spectroscopy, and so on. So this is Fourier transform microimaging, and starting from medical stuff like kidney stone, cancer tissue, and different other materials. Another interesting thing, it's on the edge of chemistry and biosciences, is nanobiotechnology. So, for example, a biofuel cell based on direct bioelectrocatalysis. And this is the Faculty of Chemistry of Vilnius University. Further on, together with great and supercomputers, the next strong point is theoreticians who are modeling, and modeling of nano aggregates. It's Professor Volkuna's team and group, and Juze Lunas who are working on that and trying to calculate. This is the use of supercomputers. So scientific potential is concentrated mainly in Vilnius University Institute of Semiconductor Physics, Institute of Chemistry, and industrial links. You can see different companies and which have the joint projects with these scientific groups in the recent years. Further on, if we go to semiconductor physics and electronics, because already from Russian times we had a strong Semiconductor Physics Institute and quite strong scientists. They are going further. So first of all, it's a semiconductor measurement technology. So it's various, again, close link with laser technologies, because these are methods used to characterize materials with the lasers. So characterization, I would call it characterization of semiconductors, of various structures, nanostructures by laser beam. And of course it's use, one very important project is together with CERN used for detectors. Another very hot topic now when energy and winter is cold, so it's photovoltaics, and again it's private investments close to that place. The Janulevičius, the owner, is building a photovoltaic factory to build the batteries, and also he is opening the research center for photovoltaics, where he promised it will work at least 20 people. So it will be quite a big lab. And this is joined with German company. And also the recent purchase from the valleys. This is metal oxide chemical vapor deposition equipment, especially for cells, gallium nitride and similar. Also, this gallium nitride, as you know, you can develop the LEDs. So another application is screens and OLEDs for different applications, starting from TV and finishing with greenhouse. And the lighting, solid state lighting, is much more efficient. You can choose, for those who don't know, you can choose the part of the spectrum that your strawberries or cucumbers will grow better and will be quicker, good for consuming, and go to the shops. And also you save a lot of energy by doing that. So this is Institute of Agriculture together with Vilnius University, and also spin-off, Hortilet, the new spin-off, who is trying to produce these for the market. The lighters, I mean, not the cucumbers. So another, it's a Semiconductor Physics Institute, is producing the thin film metal oxide gas sensors and nanostructures for different applications, which can be used as a sensors for different stuff. And the most recent spin-off, it's Terahertz Optoelectronic, TeraVil. They created the probably the best at the moment in the world with signal-to-noise ratio, emitters of terahertz radiation, and detectors. And they are selling their own terahertz spectrometers. Together with Expla, TeraVil is producing detectors and emitters, and business, as far as I hear, going not so bad at the moment. So you can see the short summary. That's semiconductor physics, it's Vilnius University, Institute of Physics, semiconductor physics, Gediminas Technical University, and companies, different world companies which have cooperation. So, totally National Center of Physical and Technological Sciences. We can see three main parts: laser light, material science, and semiconductor physics. Of course, you can say that it's quite different to separate, because material science and characterization, you cannot produce, let's say, terahertz emitters, so you need to have also semiconductor physics, but you need to characterize, so it's overlapping. And for all this, you need a picosecond laser, which is produced also here. So its division is more or less relative. So all this will go to National Center of Physical and Technological Sciences. Another thing is the biochemistry, genomics, biotechnology. After reform of higher education, two big institutes joined Vilnius University. It's biochemistry and biotechnology. And in the beginning, I showed you the building of life sciences, which will be built. Both institutes will move there, and the interesting news is that Thermo Fisher company, which purchased joint stock company Fermentas a couple of years ago, they asked to build additional floor, and in this additional floor they will make their own research lab joint with their institutes. So, because I'm not specialist in biotechnology, but these things are also important as much as laser physics or material science. And you see the parts, as Marco showed, which we think we are strong. So it's biochemistry, genomics, biotechnology, laser physics technologies, physics of semiconductors, and of course for us it's important Baltic studies, because Lithuanian language, it will be no other place in the world to study. And of course research history, philosophy, book science of Lithuania, and of course very important medicine, which I skipped, it's a medical part. And further on, it's new functional materials, structures, technologies, Lithuanian studies, development in terms of globalization, economy, and part of another valley, human organs reconstruction and development of treatment methods, and research on bioactive materials. That's a life sciences part. So, because I didn't know how to finish my talk and how long I will be able to talk, I will finish at this moment. Thank you very much, and please feel free to ask questions.
I must say that your presentation was too impressive, that audience is not prepared to ask questions, not yet.
It's good, because I cannot answer.
Mr. Banus. There are. Okay, good.
Yeah, and the question is, again, we are already approaching the end of the current planning period, so 2 years probably a bit more left. And you still have a lot of things to do.
Yes.
And how does it look?
It looks not very good, but we are optimists. The problem was that, you know, these projects were rather huge. Yeah. Each valley, together with equipment, it was about from 80 to 100 million euros. And our government and our ministry was not sure to do or not to do, and they wanted to be sure. So 2 years it was only expertise after expertise. And finally, when it was signed, we started with tender. And you know, the building tender, how long it lasts. So now we are in process, and we hope that we will manage to finish this one. And for the future, I can say it's a huge planning, and I think for the future, colleagues from Estonia already explained we have very similar situations in Lithuania.
Some aspects condolences for us, but we are also in the same situation. Prayer of procurement and so on. And thank you for the recognition of biotechnology and biomedicine, but already in this planning period. But have you any already settled plans for the next funding period?
It's pity that our ministry is not here. it's a question not for us. I am as a representative for university. Of course, I can say I would wish to develop further the Valley projects. But the plans of the ministry, I don't know.
Thank you. And for Andrei Stilin, Latin Council of Science. Still, the 7th framework program is open, and the horizon will start in some years. Could you tell a little bit in which fields in 7th framework program your scientists are more successful?
We have about eight projects from physics. So it's semiconductor physics, laser material science, about 7 or 8 in biotechnology, also not to forget chemistry, mathematics, informatics. So it's nature sciences, mainly.
Thank you very much for the very nice presentation. It was very impressive, the physics side or part of the physics, but this is not really my field. My question would be about sustainability, because you have started, you hope to finish the buildings, etc. in 5 months. As you know, that it will cost a lot of money to maintain these.
Yes, indeed.
What about your plans? How you plan this sustainability? Where you can get the source for that?
It's again, I can refer to the previous speaker. Also, we expect to get the orders from private companies. It's one source, and for that purpose we are creating so-called open access centers, where the companies can pay the fee and do their experiments. Another source will be, of course, projects, different scientific projects. But again, with the same question, if you buy such an expensive equipment, it will be stupid to keep it without using. And if you use it, you must get some money back to maintain it and keep it running, because it costs.
But the question is, because this is the European money that I understood.
Yes.
The same question arises also here. If you have the support from the EU, you can't use for industrial purposes. In opposite.
No, to make the profit, yes. You cannot. To make the profit.
No. This is not at all coupled with profit or non-profit organization status, or if you use the equipment for industrial purposes, for contract research, problems arising, at least that.
In Lithuania, the explanation was the following, that to cover the running costs, it's allowed. You cannot ask if it's self-cost of a measurement, let's say it's 10 lat, you cannot charge 15 or 20. You charge 10 lat and you cover the running costs. That's normal. That's okay. Yes?
I do have also a question. I mean, this valley concept is very nice, but you have two parties involved, let's say the industrial part and research and development part. And usually it means in one country you have two ministries involved. Yes. Ministry of Economy and Ministry of Education and Research. So how is the relationship, or what are your feelings about? Because
now I think it's okay. the relation. Of course, it's much easier if you have one ministry. But it's political questions. So you must go to the Prime Minister. Good.
I would like to ask also one question. Our title is Baltic Technology Platform. I have been quite some years involved in this science policy, and I now receive a nice presentation about values. Thank you for this. But some years ago, I heard something about Lithuanian technology platforms. Was this a rumor, or what was your experience with it?
Nobody knew what it is. It was a fashion, and frankly speaking, it was the idea because it was platforms made in European Union, science and technology, let's say platform of semiconductor physics or nanoelectronics or so. And then it was one plan, which of course was ruined, that finances to the science and the development will go through these platforms. So scientists and companies, they started to create such a platforms in Lithuania. It was created, but then the politics of spreading the money changed, and platforms left without money. So I think they still exist, but they don't play any important role.
Then I must say again, thank you to Mr. Banis
Yes.
for in-depth presentation in specific fields, particularly physics. I guess that in future we also will get more detailed insight in all these 5 valleys as well. If you allow me to summarize what I have heard this morning, so the first thing is that we are still only at the starting point in knowing better what we do. I guess you know very well things from scientific point of view. You know each other as a scientist. But the missing part of our story is that we do not have comprehensive analysis of our prior investments in science and technologies. We do not have comprehensive roadmap of the science infrastructure in all 3 Baltic countries. We are still in progress implementing projects of current period, which is 7 to 13 years. But still, there are some projects which are more advanced, some projects who are under the procurement procedure. Anyway, there is a lot of information to be gathered and to simply to put in one report. Here we are back to the decisions of our prior meeting in January, that we already agreed that there will be much of value to create joint report on our investments, which has happened until now. And for this, we really have to establish a task force. So I come back to our memorandum of understanding, which we will send to you for discussion. But with what is obvious that we have to create a joint expert group, starting analysis process. The next point, what I have learned is that there is also a job on the side of institutions. Know already on institutional level, our leading institutions must cooperate in order to develop more focused view on research priorities. And if we have in one hand our investment report, if we have on other hand our research priorities, we can start to think about the smart specialization or about the smart cooperation at least, which would be also achievement in current situation. I guess that we use the time in the afternoon, which is fully volunteer time, really to establish networks, to establish precise, probably timetable for those who would like to learn more about the particular institutions or research projects. And there, I guess, will be time to meet in early June or late May, since at that time, in all 3 Baltic countries, the priorities must be brought forward to governments. Since we are in the same ship, in the same sea, that the timetable for all of us is quite similar. That the mid of this year is the time when all 3 governments will accept some kind of set of priority tasks for next programming period, giving the clear signal to research communities where they have to go in depth. So this could be time to exchange our first observations and our first reports as well. Are there any other people who would like to share what we have heard this morning and to propose ideas or suggestions?
If we can stick to the schedule, then there should be some also small presentation from Latvia. Yes.
15 minutes.
No?
Is it
Yes,
enough for
more
you?
or less. I'll try
Good.
to be concise, because I have to also to ask for your beg your pardon for not having very nice and impressive pictures like my colleagues had on the presentations, because my presentation will be directed mostly towards the future tasks, which were addressed also to some extent by Mrs. Sika in his statements. So, my name is Indis Mužnieks, I'm Vice Rector for Research at the University of Latvia, and in contrast to our previous presenters, I would address mostly the future prospects of our cooperation rather than the achievements we have already, and that's why I don't have any pictures, because we have to reflect in pictures the existing things. The future is non-existent, so we have place for imagination. Yes, and this subject of the imagination we are discussing right now is the Baltic Institute of Research, Technologies and Innovation, abbreviated BERTI, in the framework of the conditionalities which were already somehow disclosed by Mrs. Sika in his introductory presentation. So my outline is conditionalities, the development, what has brought us to the idea of this BERTI project, the components of this project, and what we can expect from its development in the framework of those conditionalities. Conditionalities which were already mentioned, as I said. This is the first, that the Europe strategy, the Europe 2020 strategy objectives are first of all related to the fostering of research, technology and development and innovation, and for less developed regions, and we have to confess that all our countries still belong to so-called less developed regions, although we don't feel at least to some extent. So this RDF, this European Regional Development Fund, is the most important source of funding for the research and innovation. Although we shall be trying to be competitive within Horizon 2020, but we still have to rely a lot on this cohesion funds. And the example conditionality, so we shall be assessed before we start our projects in the next planning period, is based on ensuring conditions for effective investment. This buzzword smart specialization comes again into use. And performance, this means that we have to define the thematic objectives of the policy. And speaking I wouldn't say that we have to rely only on our ministries and our bureaucracies to do with those tasks, because probably the best thing from our perspective is to be proactive and to provide ideas and plans before, instead of trying to fight some not that good proposals coming from top-down directions. The thematic objectives of those policies should be enhancing research and innovation, but what is especially emphasized in the latest document, this is promoting business, research and innovation investment, and supporting technological and applied research, which until now was the rather, of course, topic which was addressed but somehow not very successfully addressed, especially when speaking in context of state aid regulations and all the laws and bureaucracies which were partially mentioned by the presentation and by the intervention of Professor Kalnić. And smart specialization, this buzzword, is defined as a problem solver for to avoid fragmentation, imitation, duplication of public research development investments, and as a tool to identify comparative advantages of specific research domains, and those who are probably not always the winning, the leading, the priority ones, which we know from our already existing experience. And this smart specialization should go hand in hand with innovation. So how it was reflected and how it was embodied in the development of this idea of Baltic Institute of Research, Technology and Innovation. In fact, I have to say that in Latvia this idea started to rise some awareness and waves. Afterwards, the Cabinet of Ministers accepted the report on strategic projects relevant for Latvia within the European next multi-annual financial framework. And this was because of the government feeling that we won't be so successful in this forthcoming period as we have been in the previous one, where we were granted 4 billion euros altogether for the development projects and used nearly 1 billion euros for the development of higher education and research in Latvia. How we used it is another question. It was reflected in our previous presentations during our previous meeting. But looking forward to continue this tradition, this trend, we started the discussion and used, in fact, the initial idea which was set forth already more than a year ago at the meeting of Baltic Prime Ministers, the idea of development of joint research and development infrastructures, firstly mostly in the field of information and informational communication technologies, but later on, already at the meetings of Ministers for Foreign Affairs, and as our rector mentioned, also at the meetings of the rectors of the Baltic universities, and later on of the Baltic universities of technology, this idea was developed further to cover also other fields which are relevant to research and innovation and technology transfer, in the idea of this full-fledged Baltic Institute of Research and Technology and Innovation. This idea was warmly supported by the JASPER's representatives. This is a unit which is helping the recipient countries to prepare good quality projects for infrastructure development. In this case, this is research and development infrastructure, and also by the academies of sciences of the Baltic states. The goal of this big project, which as far as it has been defined by now, and which of course has to be developed and discussed further on in cooperation, and probably first of all in cooperation among the universities and research institutes, and only thereafter passed to the full acceptance among the bureaucracy and governance authorities. To foster this bottom-up approach in the planning of our next activities, the goal of the Berkeley project is to create new and modernize existing objects of large, unique infrastructure, which are instrumental to upgrade the expertise of our researchers and transform the knowledge into products. And the objectives, of course, they can be discussed, but they again include the answers to conditionalities which are proposed by the European Commission authorities. What we are supposing, what we suppose to address by this Berkeley, this is a bit larger frame of the institutions and activities than we are already accustomed to address. This is, of course, we will not forget the universities, research institutes and hospitals performing cutting-edge research. But already going to the fields which were formerly covered by the Ministry of Economy instead of Ministries of Education and Science. Also science and technology parks, providing versatile support of infrastructure. And this is very important because by now we have understood science and technology parks mostly as the lenders of premises and providing some, let's say, accounting and internet services. Instead, we have to develop them as a really source and support for heavy capital research, pilot research infrastructures like modeling machines, like GLP facilities, like cyclotron centers and so on. And in the end effect, we have to support innovative industrial facilities providing internationally competitive, high added value products and services. So there are three different objects and three different, of course, support schemes, intensities of support and so on. And by now, working in Latvia, we have, in cooperation with the Ministry of Education and Science, we have identified three main clusters of where we could develop our specializations and where we are interested to match our understanding of development and match our projects' future perspectives with our colleagues from the other Baltic countries, and not only from the Baltic countries, from all North European region. Yeah, how to identify those areas of smart specialization? There should be, of course, different set of criteria for every of the type of the objects we are going to develop, and this is again the subject of discussion between ourselves and between the academia and the governance structures in our countries. Among such a, let's say, fundamental research specialization areas in Latvia, for example, I would name fundamental research in magnetohydrodynamics, which has a lot of further implications for physics, space research, medicine, and so on. Also, it would be stereospecific organic synthesis and some other topics which are in pipeline, which could be identified, and where we suppose there is some research achievement and expertise which places Latvia in some specific place, not only among the Baltic countries, but in the whole Europe, or even sometimes in the world. Yeah, for science parks, of course, there should be a number of other criteria, like the possibility or capacity of create startups and spin-offs, business plans, international cooperation, of course, participation of municipalities in the development, and the first example which came up to my mind when discussing those types of infrastructures could be GLP animal lab facilities for the development of new drugs, or geographical positioning services which can be developed in more sophisticated way in the programs like those where the Estonians have been so successful in the development of Skype services and so on. And in the end effect, for the innovative enterprises, again, it's very important to have the support from investors, capacity to absorb the innovation possibilities for linking with the research. And if we are talking about Latvia, the plans to build a pilot plant to synthesize kilogram amounts of fine organic synthesis products, or experimental plant for furfural and ethanol production from wood chips, could be such an examples of such an innovative enterprises which could be developed with the help of this support, provided that there is interest of investors, and of course provided that the ideas are proven to be feasible in sustainability and commercial value. The socio-economic returns from those projects should be versatile, but identify them precisely in the project structure. Some external expertise, to our understanding, could be instrumental, and that's why we are interested in assistance of Jaspers as authority to prepare full-fledged project already now in the period before the new multi-annual planning period has started. Because if we are preparing those projects when the planning period has already started, we are in approximately the same situation where we are now. Because now we are just in the middle of procurement procedures, and there are only 2 or 2.5 years left for the implementation of those huge activities we are targeting at. By all means, in the framework of all those EU conventionalities, such an activity would be of very high importance to my understanding. It will provide us all the exam evaluation procedures. It will help us to show that we are delivering our input to Europe 2020 strategies through strengthening R&D and innovation. And we shall support technological and applied research, which was not done probably to that high extent in our previous planning periods. And we shall secure European research and development funds as an important source, hopefully at 25% margin for funding of research and innovation. And to secure all those things, the goals and objectives of the Baltic project have to be reflected in national plans of development. But to agree on the goals and objectives, we have to intensify the discussion among the academicians, first of all, and among the academicians and administrators after that. And in the end effect, I hope that we shall succeed in the Berkeley project, whose organogram we see here in general. Of course, it is just a proposal of the idea. We have to elaborate on this jointly. It will be implemented and will be successful within our cohesion envelopes or on top of them, who knows, but we need to have this project to be successful in the promotion of research and innovation during the next planning period of European financial funds. Thank you. And what I wanted to add that the detailed vision of the development of those three clusters we have identified and somehow tried to specify within our plans will be given by our colleagues, each of them who will represent one of those clusters after the break and press briefing. Yes? So that's it. If there are any questions, then I would be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Buznieks, for recalling again Latvian priorities and a brief description of the Berkeley project. The one thing what I forgot to say summarizing the morning session is it is obvious that probably smart cooperation issue stands before smart specialization. And what I heard from you that what we mean by open access to infrastructure also must be discussed in very technical detail. And this is a key for the effective use of infrastructure we have already created or what we are intent to finish until year 2015. So I guess another immediate task for this task force, what we are going to create, is also negotiation on what we mean by open access to infrastructure. This could also probably give us more clear understanding about the shape and future of Baltic Technology Platform project. As also a colleague from Lithuania said that fashion words come and go, but there is a concept which stands longer, and it is distributed infrastructure. And I guess what we have created in current planning period is more related to kind of distributed infrastructure, which must be used in coordinated way. So these two priorities, taking stock of what we have and what we will have in immediate future, and open access would be the key things we have to work on. With this, I would like to finish the conceptual part of our discussion. Then I would like to ask very technical things that all presenters, please leave your presentations on the desktop of this computer, so we can collect them and also include in our file. And putting on paper the minutes of this meeting. We also would like to use a list of participants really to distribute our ideas. And as I said before, this also includes a top-down and bottom-up approach, and it was also emphasized by our colleagues from research institutes and universities that only one way doesn't work. There must be top-down, which is like ex-ante preconditionalities, and there must be bottom-up, which means a meaningful cooperation, not just cooperation for paper. So if there is no more questions for morning session, then I can say thank you to all of you, and we meet here back at what time?
At 3 o'clock.
3 p.m. All right. Enjoy your free time. Lunch.